Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirt historian. Welcome to another week in Geek. Man, I've got a packed show for you guys today, both in terms of guests and in terms of just content. I mean, geez, I don't know if it's going to be a long show today. I think it'll easily go an hour. Probably could go two if I really want. Maybe three even. I don't think everybody will be here for that, though. So, let me just start off by saying we talked earlier this week on Tuesday about our friend Clobbering Time, whose name is Mike Alonzo, if you don't remember. And sadly, he passed away. He lost his battle. And we're all a little bit poorer for it. I'm not going to say that I'm his biggest fan, best friend, or whatever. That would be a complete insincere lie. But he was one of the guys that was already doing YouTube when I started. He's one of the guys who helped me cut my teeth on YouTubing. And he is one of the guys who invited me to his show to hang out and stream with him when I was first starting out. And I will always be grateful for that. He was a great historian of comics and a truly beloved friend for everybody who knew him. A lot of other YouTubers I've streamed with or talked to, like Stone Loki and some of the other guys, Mexican Iron Man, I've never seen these men cry as hard as I have seen them cry about Clobby's death, and it kind of affected me because I got, as the more I saw as many people getting together on his stream on Wednesday to talk about him, the more I kind of realized that he was kind of a nexus point for a lot of us YouTubers. A lot of people were on his show, gathered around his show, gathered around his fandom. And losing him has really been bad for everybody. So I mourn his loss. And it's like anything else, you never realize what a great thing you had until it's gone. And in Clobby's case, that's definitely true. His family is still doing a GoFundMe. They've actually successfully managed to do it. I think. Take a moment to look at it real quick. But yeah, this is his GoFundMe. It was originally set up to help defray the cost of the hospital bills. I guess now it'll be used for other things. But yeah, they've hit their goal, but you can still donate. And I'll put the link up in the chat. So, the real thing I can say about this is, if there's somebody out there that you like or somebody out there that you care about or something like that, don't hesitate to reach out and, tell them, hey, man, you doing okay? Or you feeling all right? Or it's good to see you again or something, because, no man knoweth the hour or the day when his time may come. And I certainly wasn't expecting Clobby to go, this soon. So, I don't know. Don't miss your opportunities. And I'm definitely somebody who could talk about missed opportunities, Like I've said it before. I missed my opportunity to talk to Mike Pondsmith, and I'm still regretting it. And, hopefully I will someday. But that's something for some other time. Meantime, why don't we take a look at our guests, huh? We got Mr. Grimm. How are you doing, sir?
Getting there.
Getting there. Got Mr. Castor, who knew Clobby even better than I did.
Yeah, we every Friday night we were talking comics over on Nick Weiser's, and it was always great because he would, whenever we would get to start talking about a comic, or there'd be a little paragraph or so at the start. Cobby would always be the one to step up and do his Stanley, like, man, it's me, Stanley. It's comics written by me and nobody else, because he was someone who didn't worship the ground that Stanley walked on. Like, it seems like half the comic book audience of current day seems to.
Yeah.
And it was always, he's kind of helped remind us often of the importance of everyone else involved, and not just like one big name at the top. It's like, hey, there's a lot of other people who get involved in a lot of projects, and that goes across the board for like tabletop and video games and all this stuff. Like, let's remember to give a little respect to the artists that work on these things, to the editors.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember I did actually get Clobby on my stream one time. And that was when I was interviewing Herb Trimpe's cousin, Glenn Baisley. And the reason I wanted Clobby is because I knew he was a comic book guy, and we were talking, like I said, we were talking to Herb Trimpe's cousin, and I knew that Glenn was gonna talk about Herb Trimpe on the show, and I'm kind of like, well, this is probably a good opportunity for Mike to ask a few things if he wants to. And yeah, I wish I had done some more comic book related stuff to have him on, because the sad fact is the comic books kind of just died on us, and became less interesting.
I mean, there is some good stuff around now, but it's nothing to be by any means any major publishers. Like Marvel's certainly not putting out anything good, and they haven't done that in like 10 years.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look at me. I'm the last comic books I put up on stream to talk about was the Micronauts. I mean, how old is that comic? Anyway, but we do have another guest in a surprising return. He actually thought enough of us that he wanted to come back. We have Mr. Joel T. Clark.
Hey, folks.
Hello.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Hello.
All right. Well, okay. So today, guys, I have kind of like a side mission or side quest. Okay. And the side quest today is we're gonna make Grim laugh.
I make Grim laugh like 5 times every stream.
Exactly. We have to make Grim laugh as much as possible because he's, I'm tired of all the the gothy, angsty, darkness coming from Grim's corner of the internet.
Oh,
because he's British.
Yeah, because he's British.
Yes, we're all goths. That's right.
That's right. Yeah, you guys,
especially the Teletubbies.
Yeah, you long hair and your
if you had
dark
their
shades.
kind of weather.
Dungeon Delver. Top Secret. I love that show.
I mean, we all know why Grim is so down in the dumps all the time. He needs to chin up and just join the Tories. He'll feel much better about life then.
Oh, God. I thought I'd start out with this little historical video that I found here, and we'll see how Grim reacts to this one. Actually, you know what? Actually, first I thought we would get Grim's attention with something totally offensive that I know that he will absolutely love. Yes, biscuits.
That's not a sausage for one, nor is that gravy, and that's definitely not a biscuit. So that's 3 strikes.
It's a sausage, gravy, and biscuit pie. It says it.
T-shirt in shambles.
At least it is a savory pie, so it's got that going for it.
Oh.
But
I mean, it has ingredients. It was clearly baked. It counts.
I don't know. I thought it counted, but
gravy is bran.
It can be.
Brown.
Brown gravy is good. Can be, but no. Here's an
bits in it.
Yeah. Here's an actual historical document I found that I thought would bring a smile to Grimm's face.
Good evening, friends. It is my fond hope that you and your family will gather together to enjoy Star Wars: The Acolyte. I'm especially fond of this charming outer space adventure, a very special kind of show, and one of which we're very proud. And incidentally, we have a handkerchief ready. And it's centered around a group of intergalactic communist lesbian witches. Now, these Space Scissor Sisters have used a magical power called the Force to create life, enabling one of them to give birth to twins, a process that enables these Milky Way muff divers to live in peace without the need for any penises. In celebration of their testosterone-free, non-sperm lifestyle, the whole sapphic crew of carpet munchers will perform an exciting musical number chanting, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. That this lesbian empowerment sing-along is by far the most charming and lovable ditty I've ever heard, and it will be sure to have you smiling and your toes tapping.
Seems to me a turkey baster would be easier.
I mean,
Walt would have been so happy to have his name attached to that.
I mean, yeah, good old Walt. Uncle Walt would have loved that, I think. He would have been so happy. I also created a video to kind of commemorate how I felt about that scene, and I prepared this for you. Sorry, we shot this in 8mm, so yeah, it's a little grainy. Yeah, this is actual footage from the show. So, oh, and I got this guy to watch it.
You just love making people suffer.
I didn't make this movie. Yeah, that's clearly not grooming or anything. I don't know.
The Clockwork Orange scene would have worked just as well.
Yeah, it would have worked. Yeah, that might have been good too. I don't know why. I just thought of Nick Cage first whenever I saw this. Hopefully all the film grain and the shutter noises and everything will keep YouTube from copyright claiming us.
Yeah.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
You didn't really sing? Jesus. That's my first time seeing any of this. This is... Oh boy, I feel you.
I think you'd rather
Like,
have
they
the bees.
Deaf.
Were they like legitimately singing? Like actually singing?
Yes.
Has
They're
anyone ever
kind of-
sang in Star Wars before?
No, this is the first time. I think it's yeah. They're trying to do a little bit of a musical
Well,
It kind of
What about
ruins
the
the whole
holiday
energy,
special?
doesn't it?
there. Yeah. So
Oh, you're right. They did in the holiday special. I'm glad we're being compared to that masterpiece of Star Wars filmmaking right there.
although
I mean-
although it's
point.
very fitting of that because now the holiday special is actually ranked higher than this.
yes,
Oh God.
it's true. The holiday special is ranked higher than the Acolyte now.
What about the Ewok Adventures?
I mean, it blows it away.
What about the episode of the Muppet Babies that referenced Star Wars?
Hey, that was
No,
actually great. You shut up about
Yeah.
the Muppet
I just want more. I just want more AI Walt reacting to things. You could have a whole channel of it and call it Walt the Fuck.
That's true. That's awesome. I could totally do that. I should maybe do that.
The channel just dropped, folks.
But I just want to point out something, guys. In 1977, they made the first Star Wars film, or they ran it for $11 million. They made it for $11 million, and they had some talent. I mean, they had Peter Cushing in that thing. They had Alec Guinness, and I mean, yes, they were older at that point, but still.
Well, I mean, not to interrupt you. To be fair, like half the cast is from like Hammer horror movies.
True. But anyway, they made that movie for $11 million.
Oh, that
They
made
made
it better.
It did. They made that movie for $11 million, which translated into 2024 money is about $57 million today. Right? And how much are they making The Acolyte for? $180 million?
Yeah.
And that's about $22 million per episode. So
what? A Godzilla minus 1.5?
Yes, a Godzilla minus 1.5, which is also a really good movie and a modern movie made for less. And oh my gosh, look at Mercurius for $2 Australian. Kill me now. Okay, sir, we will kill you. We will take you to Detroit.
And as for my American friend, the CIA thinks it can infiltrate the mountain of Dr. Crud. You can't scare me, you slant-eyed yellow bastard. Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
And we are joined by a Delver.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, Delver.
Hey, good. My audio's working. I've been working on some stuff. My intro and outro have been super duper choppy, and I had a couple of awesome people help me troubleshoot that, so my opening and closing credits won't sound like they're playing through a Commodore 64 anymore. So
Hey,
that'll be
Commodore
kinda
64
nice.
is good. So
Commodore, yeah, but not to pump out 1080p video. It's not.
true.
Anyway, all right, Jim. If this don't make you laugh, I don't know, dude. Maybe you've had a lobotomy or something like that. I don't know. But this ought to crack you up, brother. Okay, so there's this little English boy, and he takes some of his money, saves up some of his money, and he goes to a charity shop to see if he can find something cool to buy. And he goes in there, and what does he find in the clothing section? But he finds a kilt and a tartan. So he buys a kilt and a tartan, and he goes home, and he goes in his room, and he puts it on, and he goes downstairs, and he tells his mom, "Look at me, Ma, I'm Scottish." And she's like, "Oh, you little traitor!" And she grabs him and she jerks the thing and she whips his ass and says, "You go tell your father what you did." And he kind of goes in there and he goes, "Look at me, Dad, I'm Scottish." And he's like, "Oh no, I won't have that." Jerks it up, whips his ass and goes, "You go tell your grandmother what you did." And he goes, "Oh, look at me, Grandma, I'm Scottish. Mommy and Daddy whipped my ass." And she said, "And what did you learn?" And he goes, "I learned that I've only been Scottish for 15 minutes and I already hate the fucking English." I got a little chuckle for that. So mission accomplished.
We only keep
Nice.
them around to make scotch, so you know.
Well, okay. Well, this is what I could definitely tell you about episode 3. Does it ruin Star Wars? Yeah. Because in the first place, we have we have a cult of lesbian witches. Now, it doesn't actually say that they're Dathomirian witches or anything like that, but considering that one of the major witches in their little group is a Zabrak, should kind of tell you something. Although I found this kind of interesting because if we go over to the Wikipedia, and I mean you can look this up. I don't want to necessarily put it up on screen, but it says that Zabraks are the females don't tend to have the cranial horns. It says Zabraks lack the cranial horns shared by the rest of their species. So why does she have horns?
Are you honestly expecting them to follow canon, sir?
I mean, no. But the other thing is, I don't know if this was a design choice or if this is just shitty makeup, but you could see all the little lines where all the appliances were put on. And I'm like, was this a design choice to show off where all the appliance lines were connected to the... I mean, because I know they can seamlessly blend that shit.
It's probably
Well, I
meant
think
to
you're,
look
I
like
think you're expecting.
Dorian.
I think you're expecting a lot from them. I mean, they only had $180 million to make this show.
They only had $180 million to make this show. What was I expecting?
And it fucking crushes me. Even adjusted for inflation, one fucking episode of this show costs more than it cost to make Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
One
Shocking.
episode.
Yep.
Nobody in this entire process sat down and said, hey, that kind of weird offbeat movie called Being John Malkovich, and Charlie Sheen's got a throwaway line in there that says, lesbian witches, man. Maybe we shouldn't base the entire premise of a children's science fiction TV show on that joke. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Nobody in the process, nobody along here said, don't do that. Guys, this is going to be examined by film students and critics for the next 50 years in how to completely destroy a franchise. Let me ask you something, guys. Did you ever have like that kid in your neighborhood, like head full of bad wiring, just like a sociopath, and his parents would give him like really expensive toys? Maybe he's the first kid on the block to have an Atari 2600 or a PlayStation 1 or something, and he destroyed it.
Delver, that was me.
Yeah, that was you. Okay, that was you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That was me.
All right.
I was an only child, so I was the only one who got to get all the toys. So.
Right.
At a 3DO.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I did.
I
earned that.
So and you wonder, you look at it and you wonder, that costs. So how could you do that? And and just kind of go on to the next thing, and mom and dad just give them the next thing. This is that same level. This is that same level. How could you spend $4 billion on one of the most, not one of the most, the most beloved science fiction franchise?
Well, maybe next to Star Trek.
It's groundbreaking. Come on.
I'm probably with Black Lodge Games on this situation. Go watch their video on Star Wars.
When
I love that video.
Disney bought Star Trek was fucking moribund.
Star Wars.
When Disney bought Star Wars, Star Trek was moribund.
Yeah.
All right. Star Trek had nothing like the groundswell that Star Wars did. And I mean,
it's pretty obvious that the people who own it now are just more content trashing everything that came before than actually trying to do anything positive, good, or money making with it. This is nothing but a show about the message. But
I could give this to my daughter, my 16 and 21-year-old daughter, and say, here's the premise of Star Wars. Explain the Force to him for 15 minutes, explain Jedi, the Empire, and the primary characters, even including people from the prequels. And I could have gotten better than this, and they probably just would have wanted to have gone to Culver's for lunch in exchange.
Probably.
It wouldn't have cost me $200 million. That's for damn sure.
But I have a couple more things to point out about this. Okay, so this is apparently the mother of hang on. These two sweet children, and they're identical twins.
Oh, the one standing by the spaceship campfire and the other one killing Jedi just because?
Yeah, kind of. Okay, but this is supposed to be that woman, that Zabrak's child. Both of them are, both female children, and they were both created apparently by the Force, which they call the Thread in the show. Now, if we can get past the whole ridiculousness of the Force being able to create children, first off, they obviously, Lucas dropped the ball himself when he decided to have Anakin become, a Force created child.
Yeah.
I'm like, you fucked yourself on that one, sir. You opened the door for the Force to become magic at that point. But worse, here's what I'm thinking. the Zabrak as a species are aliens. I mean, like, not in the sense of, they crossed a border, but I mean, like, they live on another fucking planet. They don't have the same internal organs we do. They have 2 hearts, for one thing, as it's said in the Wikipedia. And I mean, they have cranial horns, for God's sake. So obviously, there are developmental differences in their biological and cellular structure that are not the same as humans. So, kind of in the same way that we as humans cannot reproduce with other primates, even though we ourselves are derived from primates. We cannot have children by chimpanzees. And I don't think chimpanzees could carry our children, even if we somehow found a way to, impregnate them.
Tried.
Yeah,
the Soviets tried.
Right. So,
but I mean, is there any depravity the Russians wouldn't stoop to?
No, I mean, they'll try it.
Yeah.
But see, so how does a Zabrak female carry human children to birth? I mean, we don't know what their reproductive structures look like or how they're built or designed or anything, and
The T-shirt, it's space magic. There are laser swords and blasters and faster than light travel and telekinesis.
Okay.
Nothing has to make sense.
Oh, okay. Well, how about the fact that neither child looks like the Zabrak parent? They look like
space magic.
Space magic.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Space
Okay.
magic.
Okay,
They
Rings
are
of
literally
Power, it's dragons.
they are literally 12-year-old dungeon masters saying an evil wizard did it.
Okay. Well, then how do we explain this? How do they take this beloved actor and they give him a haircut of a lesbian haircut? I mean, he looks like, he looks like that chick from Star Trek.
Let's not badmouth lesbians, all right? We mentioned Hammer Horror earlier. They knew how to do lesbians.
Damn
Okay,
straight.
Yeah, they did. If we're not talking about that particular bad haircut, how about we address this particular bad haircut? Because what the fuck is this? Right here.
Oh fuck! I haven't seen this.
Yeah, the sides of his head are shaved bald.
I don't see it.
He's a bald Wookiee.
Oh,
You
God,
gotta find
yeah.
an image of Zippy the
It looks like they
Panda.
crossed him with one of those cone head aliens like you see in the Jedi Council in the prequels.
He looks like he has a penis for a head. Let's just say it, guys. He's got a penis head.
That looks like some shit that they would have cooked up on SNL back in like 78 or 79.
I mean, not to mention, I didn't think Wookiee could be Jedi. I thought that
They
was like
can't.
canonical.
They absolutely can't.
Yeah. But here we go. We got a Wookiee who's not only a Wookiee, but is a Wookiee Jedi Master.
Under the costume, it's Mr. T.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's actually genius.
Yeah. So this is a thing now. This exists, and this is, I guess, going to become canon now because Star Wars, where everything that we say is true now.
Yeah.
I also want to point out some other things that happened in the episode. Apparently, a little girl burns a book, which somehow manages to catch a stone building on fire.
Is that like a metaphor? Or does that
No.
literally happen?
Nope.
She sets her sister's diary on fire, and this stone fucking fortress that's carved out of the side of a mountain goes up in flames because apparently fire works differently in the Star Wars universe.
Well, I mean, it must, because like the very first episode, we had a fire in space where there is no oxygen.
And it's not like, okay, there's a gout of plasma pouring out. No, they literally said throw some wood in there and pour a little gas on it and film that.
You can even see it flickering.
Yeah, it's just like crackling, like they went out and they busted up a pallet and shoved it under the stage.
I kind of feel like the set designer wasn't communicated with in this particular twist of the plot.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine you're designing a set and they're like, is there any special needs, anything that happened to the set? No, it's fine, just whatever you want. It's a cave, we'll make it stone, that'll be fine. Like, it really
T-shirted.
just overlooked it entirely. It's such a
T-shirted. Can we do a scratch poll with everybody on the panel real quick? Which is worse, this or the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Oh, I think we could pretty much agree that this is way worse. But
Yeah,
I
worse.
watch
I've
the
seen
Star
the
Wars Holiday Special every year.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've seen it once. I don't know if I could endure it again.
I watched it when I was a kid, and then I watched it
Introduced
again as an
Boba Fett,
adult.
so for that alone.
Yeah, that's true. Even the Boba Fett was worth it.
Yep, the heavy metal style Boba Fett cartoon redeems that entire thing. Diane Cannon singing VR sex stuff to Chewbacca's dad. We can forgive that.
Yeah,
all of that
Diane
stuff.
Cannon.
Diane Cannon, right?
Yeah,
we can forgive that.
Art Carney stealing every scene he's in.
Yeah. Well, Art Carney's just a good actor.
Yeah.
Was.
And they didn't. To be fair, other than Chewbacca's family, they didn't really shit all over any character background. They didn't. I compared to this, they didn't.
Oh my God,
Carrie Fisher did not come out and sing about how the Force is a song.
You knew about this? I forgot. I didn't think too many people remembered this. Joel, you remembered Zippy the Pinhead.
Yeah, Zippy the Pinhead, man. I know Zippy the Pinhead.
There you go. Zippy the Pinhead. That's who the Chewbacca Selnaka or whatever his name is. There we go.
Yeah, you shave him. That's what's underneath, man.
That's it.
Can we move on, Shirt? This deserves even less oxygen than a space fire.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There are so many other things I could say about this show, but I will say this, and I have said this on more than one occasion. Even if this was not a Star Wars property, even if this was an original, unknown, let's say Star Wars did not exist whatsoever at all, and this was the very first show of a brand new science fiction series that was being premiered on Disney Plus. It's still so full of holes and bad writing that it would still suck. Okay? Yep. The fact that it is Star Wars is like adding a pound of salt to an already gaping chest wound.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on from that. Let me see. I need a palate cleanser. What have I got? Do I have something that's palate cleansy? I do. I have this. I did say we were going to be talking about a lot of games today. I figured we needed to show this one off because I know at least a couple of us are going to get a little titillated by it.
I'm going to hide this tape when I'm finished. If none of us make it, at least there'll be some kind of a record. The storm's been hitting us pretty hard now for 48 hours. We still have nothing to go on. One other thing. I think it rips through your clothes when it takes you over. Windows found some shredded long johns, but the name tag was missing. They could be anybody's. We're all very tired. There's nothing else I can do. Just wait.
Is that the game that came out in like 2003?
Yeah, I think so. The Squad Shooter Night Dive is redoing it, updated.
Yeah, that deserves a remake.
Yep.
Interesting, cool.
Yep.
Because I know. No, I was just going to say I had heard that John Carpenter gave that his stamp of approval and said this is canon. So
I don't know if it's really going to be canon or not, but I'll say this: The Thing is my number 2 favorite film of all time. And I mean, of every single film that has ever existed that I have ever watched, it's number 2 on my list of favorites. My number 1, of course, being Blade Runner. But yeah, I love The Thing. I did a whole video about The Thing, talking about it, comparing it to H.P. Lovecraft's, At the Mountains of Madness, and what a wonderful, comparison it was. Yeah,
That's
so
really
I'm very
good
excited about that.
actually.
Hmm?
I think it's actually a very good comparison. Also,
Yeah.
living in Alaska, you kind of experience a Thing-esque moment like at least once per winter. Like where it's like because it's dark for like 9 solid months, and like at one point you just start to kind of crack. And like there's like a week or two where it's just like that moment on the tape where he's like exhausted and he's recording like at least there's gonna be some record left. We're all gonna die here. Like that's just the week you go through. So it's a very very relatable experience up here.
We're all very tired, and no one trusts each other.
And there's a polar bear outside scratching at my window.
I'm okay. Let me in. I want to come in.
I'm all better now.
I'm all better now.
Well, I hope Night Dive Studios fixes that game up because that game wasn't good.
Yeah.
The Booney review of it, which was pretty entertaining, but it was entertaining in the same way that whenever you watch The Room, it's entertaining, where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe what just got put onto this film.
Yes.
So T-shirted at the risk of asking you a provocative question. What did you think of the prequel? Did I just open a can of worms? Is that like a bridge too far?
No, it was okay. I didn't mind it. I thought the CG was kind of not great, but it had some good, genuinely scary moments. It was a nice attempt to explain what happened ahead of time. Although the fact that somebody did survive it kind of made me go, nah, nobody would have survived it. It worked better if nobody survived.
Yeah, having a final girl was a little,
too modern.
Stereotypical.
But
Well, the CG was frustrating because the physical effects were almost there, but there was an executive decision to go with the CG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by all accounts, the practical effects were really, really up there in quality. They just needed to put some finishing touches on them, but a money man sat down and said, no. Somebody get a couple of MacBooks and make that look good.
I personally thought the one X-Files episode that pays homage to The Thing was better than that movie.
Ooh.
Do you know do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No.
Was it Ice with the worms? Yeah, that was Ice. Ice was good and creepy.
It's kind of funny actually, because after thinking about The Thing, I recently picked up the 2008 or 2018 Dead Space. I got it for like $20 on Steam, and I thought this is a good time to buy it because it's super duper cheap. I've been wanting to play this for a long time, so I bought it, downloaded all 34 gigabytes of it, and played it, and I really enjoyed it. It was just as much fun as the original, and then I'm not sure what was added necessarily, because it's been like forever since I played the original. The original was released back in 2008. So yeah, I've slept a few times since then. But yeah, the remake is good. If you have $20 to spare and about 20 hours or so, go get it, try it out. You'll have fun with it. I think you'll enjoy it.
That's one of those I've been thinking of checking out.
Do it now, because I don't know how long it's going to stay on sale.
Yeah.
But a lot of the way the necromorphs work, especially the tall guys, really reminds me of The Thing. Especially when you start attacking the tall guys and they fall apart and become lots of little individual things coming after you. It's horrifying. And it's really done well. But anyway, we were going to talk about this guy a little bit because I recently found out that Mr. John Blanche of Citadel fame has retired from Citadel.
Oh.
And John Blanche is one of those figures of the gaming industry who I think literally defined Warhammer in its early existence, as well as elements of Warhammer 40K. Because, you know, every time I would pick up a White Dwarf magazine, I would immediately go to the heavy metal section to see what John Blanche had painted, and I would see all the beautiful John Blanche artwork like this.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, one of my favorite book series when I started out was the Sorcery series by Steve Jackson, which was all entirely illustrated by John Blanche.
Such a great series, and I mean it escapes the bonds of mere choose your own adventure, you know, and it's like a full-fledged campaign. I love it.
It is, yeah. And see, look at that. Look at it. I mean, that's not AI. You know,
That's
John Blanche
one of
sat
his-
down and did all this.
That's one of his Battle of the Five Armies ones from The Hobbit, I think.
Yeah, just sumptuous, absolutely amazing. So he's
Yeah, man,
putting a
Legolas
pen.
wasn't kidding. Those bats were made for war.
Yeah,
Look at the detail in this. Look at, you see little guys in there.
yeah.
Like, you really can't ask for a better artist for like a tabletop war game. You know, so much details on the little guys. That's exactly what you'd want.
Yeah.
Mhm. He's retired.
I like Gary Chalk a lot as well. He
Yes.
goes into similar obsessive detail.
And this is one of his early pictures. I think I believe this is supposed to be the Emperor from 40K.
Yeah, it's not quite the earliest one, but it's up there.
But you know, I'm sad that he's retiring from Citadel, but I'm glad that he's staying busy. Apparently, he's got a Kickstarter going for some miniatures based on some artwork that he's done.
Oh, wow.
Do you have a page for that?
I don't have it queued up because I've got a different Kickstarter page, but if you want to grab it real quick,
Let me see if I
happy
can
to.
find it.
Still showing off some of this wonderful artwork. I don't know. Maybe this kind of like an almost a punk aesthetic that really makes his artwork look so good.
It's more of a sort of prog rock aesthetic. I think he's very rooted in that kind of 70s album cover style.
Yeah, that's got a. I've gone blank, but there were some British prog bands, not heavier than Yes, you know.
It does remind me of a Yes album cover, though.
I'm trying to think.
Check out how the vibrancy on the color on this, man. Look at that.
That's from The Tragedy of Macbeth, which was an early boxed set Warhammer Fantasy Battle thing, which was a total piss take of Macbeth, obviously.
I love how he uses the color in this to highlight certain figures and things, and he just really pulls your attention. I mean, this guy just knew what he's doing.
Yeah, that is pretty special.
There's a great battle in that book, which is between two rival armies of Scottish football hooligans. So they're all just armed with like broken bottles and things. It's like
So English. And there's the last one. Man, look at that.
I think it might be my favorite of the lot.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean,
Tanzanite or something. I think.
The funny thing is the way the horse and the rider are posed. It also is a kind of a callback to like ancient, early medieval artworks, kind of like Bayeux tapestry type stuff.
Kind of looks like a tribute to that famous painting of Napoleon. You guys know the one?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's got that vibe.
What a master! I mean,
Yeah, I dropped the link to the Kickstarter there for you in the private.
okay.
Well, if he's got that Sister of Battle in there, I am in. I'm all in. Because if there's one thing in the world I need, it's more combat ladies in miniature to paint up. So,
Well, they're definitely combat ladies.
woohoo!
Yeah, they
And
are.
no, that is combat ladies. They are a completely unique and separate force of tabletop miniatures, not to be confused with any other. Don't want to get John Blanche in trouble with anybody.
No, of course not. Yeah. These are the 4 figures. Kind of looks like one of them looks like a witch hunter type.
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's almost an inquisitor.
yeah. Some of them would be good for Whitechester or any sort of grimdark fantasy game.
Hell yeah.
Joke's on him. I'm into that shit.
I like how they built that whole miniature just on this one little picture.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, that's definitely like rogue trader, Imperial Inquisitor type almost.
Yep.
But I love it, and I hope the Kickstarter is a big hit. I don't know how successful it is. Let me see. Well, I don't know. I guess it's already done.
You wanted 2,000 and you got 80.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Pretty good draw there.
Definitely. But there you go.
Check that out.
Yep. We're also going to be talking about another Kickstarter that is going out that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I'm telling you, we got so much stuff today. There we go. Castles and Crusades Reforged. Yes, I've already backed it. It's still got 25 days to go. It blew. Look at that. $10,000 goal, 90,000. They blew right past their funding so fast.
Castles and Crusades certainly blows. Anyway, on that note, gents, I actually got to get out of here and make some dinner. But thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Delver. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Y'all have an absolutely wonderful afternoon, and I'm going to get on down the street.
Right.
And hey, I got to have you on the channel one of these days.
I have time.
So let me see here. If you just want to kick me out of the stream, that's fine, man.
Oh, wouldn't do that.
Send him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit. I'll see y'all around.
We'll see ya. All right, so if you got interested in the Castles and Crusades Kickstarter like first day, and I think this is still applicable now, their player's handbook, their brand new player's handbook was sent to you, and this one is supposed to be completely OGL free, 10th printing, which I think they've been OGL free for a while now.
Yeah, it's good that they did that because Castles and Crusades is amazing.
It is amazing. Let's see. Just check out their.
By the way, quickly about the John Blanche miniatures, it is closed, but they'll be opening a pledge manager, and apparently, if you missed it, you'll be able to back it then.
Sweet.
In about a week or so.
Well, just taking a look at some of their classes, yeah. So their basic fighter right here has some abilities I haven't seen before, like combat dominance, so weapon specialization, but they get it at first level, which is pretty sweet. They do have a couple of dead levels. I don't like dead levels.
Oh, then don't play Cleric.
Yeah, I heard. Well, Cleric has magic every couple of levels too, though, right?
Yeah. I think spellcasting classes are allowed to have dead levels because you get spells. So,
and if you notice, yeah, their level chart goes all the way up to 24. I've never seen anybody run a 24th level campaign, but not in anything.
Well, my level chart goes all the way up to 11.
One goes up to 11. I think the
Just
one I
one
usually like the monk class.
more.
Let's see, there's their knight.
I am still fairly anti-monk.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't like Eastern monks in my Western fantasy.
You guys are haters. Look at this. No
Eastern
dead
monks,
levels.
Western fantasy.
No dead levels. None. 12 levels. You get something every level.
If
Then at the
you're
higher
going
levels-
to have a monk, then it needs to be in an Eastern setting.
Why
Yeah.
monks can't travel from the east to the west?
They
Yeah,
can
no,
journey
they
to the
don't
west, but only as far as India.
It's
Then they go
look at that.
right back with the diamond manuscript.
Yeah,
It's not until level 21 that you experience dead levels. Well, actually, no, 19 is a dead level. Sorry, that was my bad. But everything else, we got levels. We got levels galore. And I'm gonna try to track down one of the Chenaults and get him on the show so we can talk to him about his Kickstarter while it's still going. And I think they'll probably be happy to do that. But look at this. Also, it's a D12 monk. Finally got a monk with hit points that can stand up close combat.
Yeah, the 3035 monks were a little tragic. Although I'm a big fan of the 4th ed monks and the 5th ed monks. So D12 hit die sounds about right, though. They should be extremely tough. Their ox body training. I might be biased in favor of monks, though.
Me too. I mean, I'm a martial artist, so. And as you can see, there's no OGL page because why? Because it doesn't have it. It ain't in there. It's all, but it's still. What's nice about it is it's compatible with a lot of your other D20 style games. So as long as you have like hit points and levels and armor classes and the basic attributes, I think you could probably make Castles and Crusades part of your campaign pretty easy. But it's a really good game. I really enjoy it. Can't recommend it enough. And they're always running specials. They are very veteran positive. They're always running specials for veterans. They're always handing out free books. And, they're an American company. They print in America. They use American-sourced paper and everything else. They're just good. They're good folks. So.
I was kind of prowling around a couple of Discord servers for like Geeks and Gamers, and sure enough, I found that there's a little bit of a community kind of growing there for playing Castle and Crusades.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there is always those little pockets out there, people who do want to play.
Mm-hmm. And and I guess Joel, by now that I did finally get my copy of Lone Wolf Fists.
Yeah, I saw that unboxing. It was awesome.
It took forever for them to get that. It took I think from the time you sent me the code to the time I ordered it, I think it literally took 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, well, a couple of the fulfillments, because I did all the fulfillments in one big go, because I was sitting on Kickstarter money for like 2 or 3 years where it was finally done, which was really painful to sit on, by the way. I had dire need for that money at a few occasions, and I was just eyeballing it like, oh, that would really make life easier right now. But I didn't. I kept it right for the fulfillment. So just in case I run out of Kickstarter, you guys know I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. But yeah, some of them, when I was doing the fulfillment, like a bunch of people got them right away. Like most of them were within that 2-3 week. Then like 3 unlucky souls had to wait, like just like you did, this huge turnaround time, and I have no idea why. So,
I don't know. Maybe it's the magical unicorn blood that they use to print the paper on, or
that unicorn blood runs out, man.
I used to think that was why printer ink was so expensive for your home printers. Magical unicorn blood.
Unicorns are in high demand this time of year. It is June.
They are. Yeah, it's June, and that is traditionally when most women do get pregnant. It's been found. Don't ask me how I know that, but
a lot of unicorns get ground up to make glitter for pride parades. So
there's that too. Yes. And as you guys know, I've had a bee in my bonnet lately about Assassin's Creed Shadows, which takes place in Japan. I've got so much to unpack about that someday. I'm really gonna need therapy.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, the game's not even out yet, and I already feel like there's so many mistakes. I mean, like in the opening scene, he rides through a torii gate, which is those big red gates that you see. Those are traditionally supposed to be on roads to Shinto temples, not like village entrances. So, yeah, the historical research authenticity team is apparently sleeping on this one.
It's a shame. They used to be really good.
Yeah. I mean, at one time their stuff was so good that they were using it to, recreate Notre Dame, and now they can't even get the fucking tatami mats right in a, Sengoku period.
We've entered into an indecorous period in which knowing things is problematic and facts are troublesome. So I don't have a lot of faith in the historical accuracy of things going forward for the next 5 or 6 years.
But what's funny is people keep comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima, and I absolutely adore Ghost of Tsushima. I love that game so much. I only play it in small doses because I tend to get very overwhelmed by how awesome it is. And I'm sorry, it's true. But this particular thing happened in Ghost of Tsushima, which made me love it even more, even though it's probably not right.
There'll be unrelated blood spreading over there. Is that his stand dying?
I guess so. I mean, it's like something that would happen in one of your tabletop role-playing games when somebody rolls a fumble or something, or a crit. I mean, I don't even know.
That's right up there with Fusro daring a bear off a mountain.
I'm telling you, man. I picked up another little TTRPG called Panic at the Dojo. I'm really kind of waiting on my printed version to come in, but since we know how that tends to go, I don't want to wait, like 6 months before we talk about it. So, really quick, I thought I'd show it. Yeah, by Vel Mini. They've got a YouTube channel where they talk about it all the time.
Oh, dude, this looks beast. So what's this game about?
Okay, so this game is about... It's a fighting game.
I like they lead with the combat.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so literally it's like an action movie universe, and the characters all have more or less like powers. And they use tokens and various other things to conduct fights. And there's color coding, stances, actions, and everything else, character options. And depending on how you set your characters up, the things that you do can basically be set up as, like you're attacking or you're defending. And while you're defending, you may also have some stuff that's ready to go. Like if an opponent uses a certain type of attack, then you get certain kinds of other abilities that go off.
Yep, grab and throw, baby.
Uh-huh. I need to actually get my physical copy in before I really talk about it any extensively. But as you can see, it's pretty cut and dried as far as the layout.
Oh, they know how to appeal to me. Look at that. I want to punch. Wait, scroll up. I want to read that. I want to punch his smug little face so he never talks to me again. That's a sentiment I can get behind.
Mm-hmm. They insulted my hair. I like my hair. I need to teach him respect. Nobody messes with tunnel snakes.
Hey, tunnel snakes rule.
Tunnel snakes rule. Yeah, there are cinematic weights. There are boss type characters and stuff. What kind of pulled me into this was one, the first examples I saw of this, they were using like actual video game, fighting game characters like Rugal Bernstein as a boss. But also the fact that there is not a lot of dice rolling in this. In fact, I don't think there is any dice rolling in this. This is like a kind of like more strategic, in which, you know, you play certain abilities, your opponent has certain abilities that are also in play, and as one person does one thing, other things are going off on the other character, so there becomes a back and forth kind of an action pool type thing. But with penalties and attacks and damage. And it's a little bit more cinematic, it's a little less swingy. And I don't know, maybe it's me, but we're at this point, I think, in gaming where people are at a pass-fail notion of gaming, where, you know, like, I don't want to roll dice because I might fail. Right? Which is why we have so many arguments about fudging dice and so many arguments about character death.
I mean, dice are binary creatures a lot of the time. They kind of give you a yes, no, and it's a rare system that gives you a degree of success in the middle of the yes, no.
Right. And that's kind of, I think that style of gaming is kind of going to be the way that things will start moving forward.
Yeah, getting incremental amounts of what you want. That's probably a wise way to do it. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind hit points too. You are incrementally closer to slaying the dragon when you get a successful hit or get a successful spell off. Like that delayed gratification is very satisfying at the table.
Well, not only that,
nice. Look, not only the same thing I do with like little images of the dice. I love that.
Yeah,
I stole that from the Marvel Heroic game from Cortex. They had little images of dice. It makes my brain light up. I love that.
Mm-hmm. If I recall correctly, and like I said, I have a rudimentary understanding of the system, because I think I've only seen like a video on it once, and I haven't really read through the rules. I'm not ready to do a review on it or anything. But the dice, you have like a certain pool of dice, and depending on what actions you get, you roll, and you get your numbers derived from those first, and then you get to set these out in whatever action you want to, dedicated to whatever actions you want to do. Like, you know, if you want to move, you get to assign a dice. If you want to throw, you assign another dice, and then you know, grapple, whatever, you get to assign another dice, and defend, you assign another dice.
It's brilliant design. I don't know if anyone ever did that in a game before, but
yeah. See, here's
anybody at all.
Joel, I sense a little something here. What is that?
I know, it looks like a really good game. I wonder if anybody tried out that exact same idea before.
I don't know. Do we know anybody?
Nothing coming to mind.
Nothing coming to mind.
I bet it works really well for fighting games of this stripe, though. That's my intuition. I intuitively think that.
Joel, do you want me to pull out? Do you want me to pull out Lone Wolf Fists again?
No, don't whip it out, man. This is a G-rated screen.
No tunnel snakes on.
G-rated tunnel snakes, Grim. We're gonna have to change you to Jolly Jim if we keep making you laugh, though.
That's the whole point.
Jolly Jim and his
no more Grim Jim. But
I love the disco fighter, though. That's critically underrepresented in Lone Wolf Fist, so I'm glad they're picking up my slack here. Way to go, guys.
He's no longer Grim Jim. He's Grin Jim.
Yeah. Right, I do think a little bit more artwork would be nice, and maybe a little bit more stylization. But, I mean, there's something to be said for, you know, stripped down, straightforward, you know, graphics.
It's at least very colorful. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The layout,
and the images of the dice there are just satisfying. I love that.
Got to grab your attention.
I really like the way they put the powers together there too. That's like super at the table usable. That's going to be in play. I can tell already.
I think so. Like I said, I was pretty.
Look, they got the dice images next to the names of the powers. Ooh, okay. These guys know their stuff.
Maybe it's something for your 2.0 version of Lone Wolf Fists.
I don't mind stealing from geniuses. That's how I got the first game made. So
There you go. That's why we look at
They
games.
got an image with the ranges. Oh, that's so cool.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, yeah, the art they did put in here is highly functional. Like that's just really sexy. I love that.
What do you think right offhand, Grim? You're usually the guy with a critical eye for this.
The layout is ass. It doesn't live up to the art and so on. Look, either indent or put a line between paragraphs, not both. Those are the rules.
That art is going off the page too.
A little bit, yeah.
It's total dog shit. But the game looks awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of a game I worked on and did about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of it. And the idea of that was just everything is kung fu.
What game is it?
I haven't finished it. I never finished it. It was a fighting game where you just everything you do comes down to fighting.
Oh my god! Look, it's like
You can
Sinner.
sort out the notes. That might be my next product. So you can sort out my way.
Those lines for
You wouldn't
Sinner
just be
alive.
You wouldn't just be a barista. You'd be a kung fu barista, and you would have coffee-based attacks and things. So.
Well, I like that idea. I mean,
Yeah, this whole thing looks like it was laid out in Google Docs.
a little bit. A little bit.
You gotta spend the $25 on Affinity, my lads.
By someone in high school. But that's okay. That's okay. Not everyone knows what they're doing.
Well, everybody has to start somewhere. I mean, how many times have you looked back at like older D&D manuscripts and stuff and seen it's like all done on a typewriter?
Yep.
Shit, man! I used to write out whole games in notebooks like some kind of medieval monk or something.
Oh, dude, I still do that. You got to work from the notebook. I'm literally doing it right now. Like,
I can't read my own handwriting, so it's not particularly useful.
I found that I can read my handwriting if it's within like a week of me writing it, and I just get less and less able to decipher my gibberish the longer it takes. So, like, if I go back to a notebook, like, I'm getting less and less of it, and it kind of gives me a reason to commit it into an electronic form faster.
Yeah, I ended up with the handwriting of a pharmacist without any of the superpowers,
or the ability to get drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently it does have like a glossary, if that's what I'm understanding this is. So that's not a bad idea. Yeah, detailed glossary. Well, it says index, but I don't really see an index. Well, I mean, now we got like backers. That's nice, but no actual index. But
yeah, indices are kind of hard to put together. Just for the record,
I told Jim when I did the robots reboot book, I told Jim, I said we have to have an index.
It's under 100 pages. I generally don't bother, but it depends on the book.
I insist always have an index because people got to look shit up.
Yeah,
He insists upon himself.
I think Mildred still owes me a thorough ass kicking for putting an index in my game, so I feel that.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, yeah, it's simple, but this is kind of workable. I mean, once you take a look at how the stuff is laid out like this.
Yeah, like look at that character sheet. That is a character sheet that will work at the table. Like, that's beautiful. I love the big, sexy chunks of art that you commission for those characters, like Demon Babe, Robot Guy. Like, okay. Like, that gets you fired up to play. Like, that's what you, like, crack open and show to your players. Like, you can do this. This is what we're doing this week. And, like, that really gets you players. So, they knew something. Like, look at this. That's gorgeous.
That guy looks cool.
Yeah, dude. What do his glasses say?
Big J.
Something. Big J? Hell
Big J.
Yeah.
That's Greg.
That is Greg.
It is.
Oh, they call their backers bosses. Nice.
Yep. Yeah. So I guess this was kickstarted into existence, but
relatable. I hope that they have put back some funds for a layout guy. I unwisely did not, and they needed even more than I do.
No, that's what second editions and third editions and stuff are all about. That's Always refine your stuff, and that's also what makes first editions worth it. Asparagus pea. Okay.
Hey, I've got that problem.
Doesn't everybody?
Not everybody can smell it.
I don't know, Joel. This one looks kind of like your character.
A little bit. Not as handsome as my model, though, because mine was based off David Ramirez, the co-designer.
Yeah, there you go.
He's a good-looking dude.
The turtle stands.
Yeah, Punch Guy in a long jacket is pretty iconic.
Kind of. Whoa. Now, this could almost be Capcom-esque, considering the way Capcom is making characters these days.
In the middle is just a shapeless blob.
Well,
It looks like they just made Aloy from Horizon.
nah, it
No, this is
kind of looks.
recognizably a woman. There's no way that's Aloy.
Yeah. Oh.
No, shots fired. I like the original design of Aloy a lot, and I was really mad when they updated it and they just basically gave her like 4 times as much jawline. Like what?
Well, that was everybody's problem. They loved Aloy in the first one, but they hated her in the second one because she looked like ass.
Don't forget the peach fuzz. They had to make sure they told you all about the peach fuzz.
Yeah, because that's definitely the first thing I want to do when I stroke my girl's cheek is, feel all that peach fuzz brushing back against my hand.
She'd make for a good dwarvish woman.
But I don't know. I think I'll have to, go through it after I get the book, figure out how to build a character, see how it actually plays. I'm kind of getting to more of these games where I like less of the dice rolling so much as I like the points versus points and stuff.
Yeah, usually games like that are about making interesting decisions. So, like, that's kind of what you actually want to do, is be put into a place where you can make an interesting decision and not necessarily know the outcomes. The dice are good after you made the decision. But yeah, if you need a player for that looks like a lot of fun. I want to give that a try. That's cool.
Okay. Keely Chow, it's good to see you, man. We spoke about Klobby at the beginning of the show. And Yang Yan Zhao. Dude, I did not even know you had a YouTube channel. I want to talk to you sometime. Not only are you going to be having a chat with Ginger, but you also had a chat with my friend Raltz, who I worked with on our little zombie game years and years ago. So, yeah, hook me up, dude. We'll talk. We should talk. But all right, we're past our hour. Does everybody have time to go a little bit further, or do we need to close down? How are we feeling?
Sure, I can keep going for a bit.
I got a few more minutes if you want.
Okay, because we have a lot of a ton of games came out this week. I want to talk about, but I want to showcase something that I thought was really cool. And this is a game that already exists, but people have been bad mouthing Dragon's Dogma 2 for a little bit here and there. But I want to showcase something that I thought was really, really cool. And in my opinion, it is the best depiction of this type of monster I have ever seen or heard in any game whatsoever. Are you ready?
Yes.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Okay. The Sphinx.
Another dogged adventurer come to take my life. Many have tried, and as you can plainly see, all have failed. After all, that which is won by brute force is apt to be lost to the same. Perhaps I might interest you in a game of wits instead.
I love the design.
A simple task.
She is so well
Solve my
made.
riddles to satisfaction. Should your answers please me, I will bestow upon you the contents of yon chests. I trust I have your attention.
You hardly ever see anybody using sphinxes in the
We
game.
shall begin.
But this gives me encouragement to want to.
Sphinx's riddles are designed to baffle and confuse. I fear we
Let's see, actually get up to.
Astray. Yet, how will your eyes advise you?
Nice
Venture
chest.
through yonder door
Yes.
and retrieve that which is of greatest value.
And of course, you get the answer.
It was like one of those never-ending stories, Sphinxes.
Yeah,
Come to test your wits.
but check out her response.
Yet, how will your eyes advise you? Venture through yonder door and retrieve that which is of greatest value.
Look at this.
So, this is your choice? The greatest worth your eyes describe? Indeed, this is what I sought. Your eyes see true. No greater worth can there be than that found in simplicity. As promised, I shall bestow upon you a prize. Collect
Look
it
at the
from yon
psych-out phase of
chest
the
and take
riddle.
this file.
I know, but I love
Its
that.
purpose I shan't divulge. How you use it is up to you.
She's playing the Sphinx version of basketball with them.
Kind of, but I love the way that character is represented, the way she's played and everything like that. It's like at first you think, oh my god, did I mess up? And then it's like, yeah, she just psychs you out, and it's like I've never used a Sphinx in any of my games because it was kind of like one of those, I don't really want to play riddle games with my players.
Oh, I love riddle games with players. They love those.
Well, that gives me encouragement to maybe want to try it. I mean,
Well, I think that shows something really important about like how you approach something in a game can really change its character at the table, right?
Yes.
Because like if you just asked a riddle and you were just sitting there like quietly as the GM, it wouldn't have the same impact as if you like got up and role played it and did that weird psych out head tilt thing.
yes.
The Miyazaki moment. Like steal that. Steal it, GMs. Do put that at your table. It's great.
Absolutely. I'm kind of wondering if there are not other moments in Dragon's Dogma 2 that would make that worth it. Now, I mean, I have the first one, and I'm kind of, it's okay. It's kind of fun. Like, it's a nice way to kill a couple of hours, but it's not something I really feel super duper invested in that I want to keep playing. But
Are you about to spend like $20-$30 for a good 5 minutes of a game?
I mean, why not? Why?
Just kind of bringing that up because it's so easy to like find so many of these games that because of one good moment it convinces you that maybe you should give the full thing a try, and maybe just to give you a little bit of balance, like before you go and buy yet another game for the backlog, stop and take a little bigger look at the game itself as a whole.
Yeah, there has been a lot of mixed reviews about it, but the Minotaur fight looks kind of cool. I have been told more than once that that's one of those games where the story is kind of ass, but the fun in the game is the open world exploration and all the little adventures that you get into, not so much trying to boss your way through the main quest.
I gotta tell you, Ironcaster, slowly watching this waifu being born is like the most zen thing. It's incredible. this whole like cast, I've just been like glancing up, and occasionally there's a little more waifu there, and I'm like, the percentage of waifu we have has increased. It's like a loading bar that just ends in waifu.
She keeps losing her hair.
Hey, relatable.
Let's see. As we get through this month, I know we have a couple of shows that are going to be coming up. We've got what is it? We've got what was it? Game of Thrones. The dragons thing coming up on Sunday. So I'm kind of excited to see how this second season goes because the first one was really good. And of course, we have Rings of Power. And one day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to force Jim to watch this with me.
How about you go fuck yourself? How about
that? Yeah. super enthused about that. That's coming out a little bit later. But also, I heard about this coming out. These are photos of War of the Rohirrim, the animated, the Japanese animated show, the anime. And immediately when people saw this, they were like, "Uh-oh, girl boss." Now, I don't know who that character is.
It's become the Pavlovian response that just the industry has kind of forced upon us.
Well, I mean, I'm not a Tolkien scholar. I think Grimm is actually more versed in Tolkien than I am, but I don't particularly recall any fierce female fighters in Tolkien lore.
I mean, there are powerful women, and there are occasional exceptions. Something's nagging at me, but I can't place it, and I don't think it was anything to do with the Rohirrim. So
were there a lot of Rohirrim girl bosses?
Don't think so.
Okay, so I hope this isn't dog shit. I really hope not. I want to see Lord of the Rings do well. I mean, that's kind of a beloved property, but Rings of Power has already kind of messed that up, and people are already whinging because they're. I mean, did I hear this right? That Jackson is actually wanting to take on more movies?
I just want some more money.
I mean, I guess. I mean, if you're going to get caught into one kind of niche film, I mean, it might as well be Tolkien, right?
As long as you can keep your niche going.
Yeah,
and people,
as long as you
want to
keep
go
making
for
money.
it.
Yeah, exactly. What's he gonna do now? like Tolkien didn't write that much. At the end of the day, there was Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion.
That's the rumor.
It's not. It's unfilmable.
I thought it would be unfilmable.
There's Children of Hurin. You could maybe do something with that.
I'm amazed that they didn't do that with because the Amazon didn't buy the rights to that, right? And it's like the one thing they should have bought the rights to, because like you could have made a series.
Easily.
That were like kind of connected about that,
and they wouldn't have to make a bunch of bullshit up.
Right. I was trying to watch Rings of Power when it was first coming out, and I was watching it with my girlfriend at the time, and we both have very different tastes in media, and both of us were just like, what the hell is this? Like, no one was happy. I've never seen something fail so spectacularly. I wasn't even upset. I was just baffled.
And Joel, let me ask you something. If you watched Rings of Power and it wasn't connected to Lord of the Rings, it was just an independent fantasy production that had no connection to Lord of the Rings, would it still be a bad show, or
it'd be an incomprehensible one?
Like, there you
what the
go.
hell was happening in that show?
Exactly. I still like Mordor being created by a Rube Goldberg machine. That was
Why did they think that was a good idea? Were they like, this is going to subvert their expectations?
I don't know.
I mean, it did. I didn't think you were going to put garbage on the screen and light it on fire. I'm subverted over here.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've ever seen a bigger trash fire.
There was just so much. I liked the design of the orcs a lot. I thought they were pretty cool.
Except for becoming Nosferatu, basically.
You got to do something unique with them, it's fine.
Well, I mean, in Tolkien originally, it's like orcs don't like sunlight, but they don't like fucking burn in it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Flanderization there. But I mean, like, there's a lot of history in Middle Earth we don't have a lot of detail about. So, like, maybe there was a more light-sensitive version that were more directly descended from the Morgoth, like, warped elf version of orcs. I'm okay with that.
I think they were just poking fun at British people.
No, that was just an accurate portrayal of the British as fine.
No, British people walk into sunlight. Ah!
You got a license for that, sir?
It burns. It burns.
At least we're not Irish.
I think I see a cunt.
Oh, I have not played that one in forever. Do you want me to pull that one out?
Go ahead. You guys deserve it.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
All right.
So many clips.
So many clips.
Every time I go to find a meme, I've got to open up my meme trove and be like, yes, which one? Like casting a spell, but I'm an idiot.
Oh.
And then you just boil it down to, but let me grab old reliable.
Yeah, let's just grab old reliable.
How you doing? Bitches leave.
Oh man, I love that he played that character for the entirety of that '70s show too.
Pretty. Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god.
You know, Eric, a robot cop shoved a foot up my ass once.
I got my ass kicked by a robot cop.
Remember that scene where he goes backstage with his son on the wrestling thing, and like all those huge dudes are in the room, and because they're wrestlers, right? And he's like, I might be the only person in this room that's ever killed a man, and they all just kind of clear out. Like it could be the same character.
Pretty much. I wonder what he's doing these days. Okay.
I mean, he was just in that '90s show.
This is something I'm really, really excited about because I love the first two. I still need to finish the second one because, oh my god, it's just so hard. But still, I'm enjoying it. It's one of those games where it's kind of like, yeah, it's one of those games that's like, oh my god, this fucking thing sucks, but I can't stop playing it because it's so good. Kind of like Elden Ring. But yeah, there's this.
Who were you before? Who did you love? What did you believe?
And Grim, if you buy this, please buy it on the goddamn PC so we can play it together.
My PC doesn't cope with things very well.
Well, then hopefully they'll cross-platform.
When we ventured out beyond the gates. But you helped us make something greater than the fear and death that surrounded us. We found hope in each other.
Help! I'm surrounded. They're everywhere. There's way more than I was expecting.
And even if we bought the other survivors just one more day, the sacrifice would be worth it. It would always be worth it.
That's gonna draw a crowd.
Straight up the Mitchell machine, dude.
And that helped us find the courage to keep going. To fight on. When we needed it the most.
This poor guy. It's like they all came out here to save the one girl and they lose the dude in the process.
I didn't know you well. But we'll keep your memory alive. Every sacrifice we make matters. And will never be forgotten.
Yep, the Juggernaut right there should tell you everything about what game this is.
No one is forgotten. We live on.
There you go. State of Decay 3. I wish they had shown us some gameplay footage, but I'm sure it's going to be good because, I mean, the first two are pretty much identical as far as that goes.
Oh, you should know better than to get your hopes up in 2024.
Oh, I'm just one of those foolishly optimistic people that wants to believe that things can be better and things will get better. And
so you must be stoked for the new Dragon Age then.
you know, I actually have a trailer for that, and I do we really have time to break that down? Do we?
I'm just sad it's no longer a sort of tactical RPG.
No, it doesn't look like it's a tactical RPG at all. It looks more like it's first-person combat driven or something. The way the combat looks. And I don't really have a problem with the character design so much, but the story really looks like it's kind of gone off the rails from what it started.
Yeah. I mean, we can look at it.
I mean, Dragon Age is kind of like very hit or miss. It's like number 1, big hit, huge hit, massive hit. Then Dragon Age 2, what the fuck was this? And then Dragon Age Inquisition is like, I don't know. It just seemed like it was just huge and very draggy.
Yeah, it was too slow.
Yeah.
Way too slow. I didn't mind the second one, apart from some of the choices you were kind of channeled into making were a bit suck.
Yeah.
But they seem to have lost the central idea of the premise from the first one by the time you get to the third one.
Mm-hmm. Turn this baby down a little bit.
Of course, it's gotta live up to Baldur's Gate 3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gone in a different direction. I think it's gonna be a mistake.
So yeah, they brought Varys back and Solus back because member berries.
Well, Varys was always fun.
Yeah.
We need someone to be our eyes and ears.
I hate this background music so much. It just makes me angry.
Someone to bring a little darkness.
This is a terrible, terrible, terrible cover of Heroes. It should not exist.
But it's the Hollywood trend.
It's so upbeat.
I just get so sick of names like Veil Jumper and Shard Binder. It's like, dear Lord, no one in the real world ever names their profession like that. They just call her like Jumpy Sue or some shit.
Well, not only that, but it's just like the whole style of the game has changed. I mean, it's like, you remember the first one was like gritty and bloody and it's epic and shit, and then here we are on the fourth one. This looks like some Fortnite bullshit right here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
And everybody was like, "I'm so happy we have Asian elves," and I'm just like, "Why would you have Asian elves?"
Is she an elf?
Yes.
So somehow make them die faster.
Yeah, I mean, people are like they have black elves and Asian elves, and I'm kind of like, you're assigning human characteristics to non-human characters. I mean, why would they have black and Asian elves necessarily?
Weren't the elves all Welsh in the first couple?
Kinda.
They're truly inhuman, though.
Yeah.
I take that, the Welsh.
I don't know how
they
many
all had Welsh accents. The voice actors.
Did they have like lots of L's in their names?
I don't remember.
Did you need a pint of phlegm in your throat in order to pronounce the names?
Don't know, but that cute elf companion, she would need a lot of phlegm in her throat for something.
Yeah, definitely.
Been digging up a lot of buried secrets.
I don't like this character design at all.
Why is Vincent Price in my Dragon Age?
Yeah, no, for real.
Exactly.
He's about to talk about the 13 ghosts of the Scooby-Doo gang.
Well, they had to bring me back with AI, so...
Rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated.
With the magic of AI and film, we can bring me back just as if you had never lost me.
Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Emmerich. Emmerich, the necromancer. So necromancy is a thing now. And weren't you saying something about not wanting these kind of characters in your games anymore, Ironcaster?
What do you mean?
You don't like necromancers and people to play necromancers in games?
No. I was talking with you about, just there's always people have this idea of what the necromancer is, but then you always see what a lot of RPGs tend to give you for necromancers, specifically tabletop.
Okay, well, apparently now we have a sparkly necromancer. Sparklemancer?
Right, but my point was you never get this kind of necromancer on the tabletop.
Well, this is an acceptable necromancer. They had to make a necromancer acceptable socially somehow. And I guess this was their...
See, now I want to pick your brain about like what you want a necromancer to do at a tabletop, because I want to see if my necromancy rules stack up. I generally share that complaint. Like a lot of necromancers, like, and I'm talking about like Dungeons and Dragons here, you can get like a skeleton. It's like, oh wow, what a powerful necromancer I am. I have a skeleton. His name is Will. Hello, Will. Say hello. He doesn't have any vocal cords, but trust me, he can nod very enthusiastically. I'm a necromancer, you know. Behold my dark magic. I have one dead guy.
Or one zombie, but nobody likes him because he stinks.
Yeah, what kind of self-respecting necromancer raises zombies, man? You gotta bone your zombies and then get the good, undead.
Yeah, it's meant to be this dark, evil, powerful magic that's forbidden, and the most you can have is like one skeleton dude kind of hanging around. It's like how making demonic pacts and so on is meant to be. Oh, if anyone finds out, you're in trouble. But the warlock class has reduced that to, my demon daddy gives me magic, and in exchange he gets to choke me every once in a while.
Okay, we're gonna end up going down an entire sidebar here, but I'm gonna do it because it's
game designers here. They're talking about game design.
I know we've actually got game designers and game players. Greg, you need to get in on this conversation too.
Okay.
So,
but how can you tie in kaiju to zombies?
Just Caster, don't interrupt me, man. I'm on a train of thought here. So I'm watching Neckbeardia and Guard Bro. A couple of my bros, guys I like, and they're reviewing Pundit's latest work, and they're talking about all these demonic pacts and stuff like that people can take in that game.
Oh, Baptism of Fire, that one.
Yeah, that one. And
that looks pretty sexy.
Well, that's the thing. Neckbeardia keeps on saying during the thing, he says, all these dark, really cool, awesome pacting powers that you get make it so irresistible. Why wouldn't you want to play one of these dark, evil, nasty, demon pacting characters?
What evil powers have tempt you to take them somehow? I don't understand.
Yeah, I imagine that. It's like, well, if you're gonna be pacting with dark creatures and things like that to give away your soul and all that, then the shit you better be getting should be worth it in a game, and it should be so seductive and so irresistible that players will actually want to take those things.
Yeah,
not just I can raise a skeleton.
Well, who wants to play the level 1 version of Darth Vader?
Exactly.
You can force tickle you.
Ooh, I can force orgasm people. No. How about I can crush my opponent's skull with my balls when using the Force at level 1? Wow, isn't that cool?
Yeah, but it's not a level 1 thing. And that's the thing. That's the real rub whenever someone tries to put Necromancer in a game. It's like whenever you start out, you don't get to be that guy. You get to be the version of that guy that can make a skeleton hand crawl around a little bit.
Yeah.
That's it. But you still sparkle all over the goddamn place.
I can use my necromantic powers to animate this hand to jerk me off. That's
right.
Really.
I've got the power of gentle repose and the jerk off version of Thing.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. How about I can spit torrents of hellfire from my eyeballs or some shit, or I can like crap demons into existence and shit, and I don't know.
I just there's no moral consequence to being evil in a lot of games. A lot of game designers don't think about what if there's a social ramification to being like stinking of like embalming fluid and having like dark omens follow you everywhere. They're just like, no, that's just cool. It's like, no,
Yeah.
dude, that sucks. It sucks to wander around being the stinky creep that makes the weather bad. Like people
look at
should
this.
shun you and be terrified of you.
Look at this guy. He's got actual fucking horrible looking skeletons with him, and he's just like, "Hi, I'm so fabulous."
Just because I'm a necromancer doesn't mean I can't be beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of digging that energy. If I was going to be a necromancer, I'd be a sparkle necromancer.
And I guarantee you, goddamn you, in this game, there will be dialogue where this guy completely justifies why his being a necromancer is okay.
Yeah, I get sick of that shit. It's like, no, dude, it's not. We need to accept that there's a moral boundary where you're animating the corpses of dead human beings to do your bidding for, with dark, evil magic you've got from hell. And it's like, oh, but no, this is morally justified. Brother, I promise you it's not.
In one of the earliest games I ever wrote, I had a faction that were atheists and necromancers. So what they were into was ancestor worship. So what they did was they bound the spirits of their ancestors into their skulls and stored them in these enormous underground storehouses so that they would have the wisdom of their ancestors forever. And the corpses they stuffed with fragrant herbs and preservatives and used as workers. So the actual alive people lived in the lap of luxury, waited on hand and foot by the bodies of the dead while the minds of the dead advised them. So to them, there was absolutely no moral compunction whatsoever.
You made a whole culture and religion, which is completely believable and very well conceived, by the way, that supports your hypothesis. I don't feel like, like Spunky, the first level, warlock I just wrote is going to have that level of depth and thoughtfulness put behind him. I guarantee you my version won't.
I don't know. Greg, what do you think about any of this?
I like the necromancers from Diablo.
Oh, because they're cool.
They are.
But you don't get that at first level in any other game.
No. And that's a shame, because you should be summoning an army of skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I do like Warhammer style necromancers where it's you and your 1,000 skeletons who obey you, and you're in the thrall of some vampire lord who's been doing this for time out of mind, and you just have one chunk of a piece of a spell book he was going to throw away that he gave you instead of eating you because you showed promise. You're like, I'll sack a whole village for you if you give me more of that spell book. And he's just looking at this old moldering spell book yeah, you go do that. That's the kind of necromancer that wins my heart over.
Hell yeah, some of those vampire lords and shit like that in Warhammer are terrifying.
I think it's that tabletop RPG designers, when they include necromancers, they think they have this gamist mindset of, oh, well, it kind of needs to be balanced. We can't have him summoning Cthulhu or anything, and then I'll just give him one skeleton at level 1, and then now everyone thinks that's what necromancers are supposed to be. It would be better if the whole game was necromancers, or vampires.
It's fine to buck the power curve of the level system if there's a trade-off. The reason that Darth Vader is so powerful isn't because he trained really hard. It's because he was seduced by the dark side and gave him a lot of power. I mean, when you compare it to the battle with Obi-Wan, again, in the only movies that matter, the original 3, he does win the sword fight, but he loses that long war. Obi-Wan's able to become one with the Force and influence his son, and ultimately, Vader loses, and not only loses, but completely switches sides and is inverted effectively by Obi-Wan's strategy there. So, that's the thing. You can buck the power trend. That's fine. But you have to, as a game designer, make the conscious decision to say, okay, this won't be balanced in the sense that they won't be on the XP track with everybody else. There's got to be some viable game trade-off that makes that not worth it. And I don't know, you could make it danger. You could make it being socially ostracized. If you were immediately oh, this is a necromancer, he's kill on sight in the Empire. You can't buy or sell things. All good people shun you or are either terrified of you, report you to the magistrate, and there's powerful enemies that are going to kill you. Okay, that's a reasonable trade-off. there's lots of things you could do as a trade-off, you know? Like, they don't have to be very gamey. It could just be like it warps your soul and you slowly become an NPC, which is the Vampire the Masquerade version of doing it. Whenever you succumb to the beast in that game, you're an NPC for a little while. The GM gets to make your life hell. That works, you know? That's kind of like what the dark side did whenever Annie went nuts in the movies that don't matter. The first set of movies don't matter, the prequels. In Revenge of the Sith, when he goes and kills a bunch of Jedi kids because
Padawans
Lucas had ran out of ideas 4 movies ago.
Yeah. I hate to go back to this example because it's, everybody's going to be like, yeah, you're right. But West End game, Star Wars D6 game, which had dark side points where you could accumulate dark side stuff and it made your character way more powerful. But the closer you got to the dark side, the closer you got to being turned into an NPC.
Yeah, and that's exactly, like, that's beautiful. That's an actual trade-off. There's a risk-reward mechanic. You're not in the same kind of power track that the XP curve represents. But a lot of game designers have this weird notion where every character has to be on the same track. You really don't. That's not satisfying gameplay. Players hate that shit. They want to be on different tracks, which is why games like Vampire the Masquerade, with its really distinct like clans and power structures for clans and different paths to power that are all viable, work really well. And the mistakes of later editions is all that they try to squish them down into what was effectively levels again. People don't like that. Like, they're gamers. They like breaking the rules, like not obeying them.
That's why NWAD was a piece of shit.
The NWAD werewolf was pretty sexy. The combat in that was really splaggy and fun. But their vampire was trash.
Well, a stopped clock is right twice a day.
The other time it was right then was Changeling. That version of Changeling, Changeling the Lost, that was pretty good too. Yeah. It's not good. It's as good as that concept could have possibly been done. So it's like the best version of a bad idea.
But anyway, let's see what else we got for us. Oh, look, Black Elf. And I mean, not like Dark Elf, but actual like Black Person Elf.
Yeah. Someone who will stand between us and a pack of demons.
So the Warden, which with we had Wardens in the very first game, and they have Griffins now, I guess, or he does.
They have Griffins now.
Yeah, and it's a Black Person Elf, which again, it's like, was there a biological reason this happened? I'm not saying it to be racist. I'm just like, an elf is an entirely different species from a human, biologically.
It's just ultimately frustrating because you're seeing just this external cause to make every group represented in every single fantasy race as if all those races would have evolved in the exact similar manners with skin pigment.
And not only that, but it's like, it actually, I don't know if they realize this, but they're actually taking away from the uniqueness of humans by doing this. Because it's kind of like, if all elves kind of look alike, like Drow or whatever like that, then that means like only humans could have like black people or Asian people and that sort of stuff. And that still makes them unique and kind of different from all the other races, which superficially all kind of look the same. Like, I mean, dwarves look like dwarves. Elves look like elves. Why do elves have to look like...
He'd be a half elf. He'd be a half elf. His mother's a human. That's why he's got the skin pigment.
Do they have half elves in Dragon Age? Because I don't think they do.
I think an NPC one turns up in one of them.
Oh, do they? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a whole side quest thing to do with them.
Okay, that's right. It's been a long time. I reinstalled it. I need to play it again.
I thought there were like background elves of color in the Lord of the Rings film that Peter Jackson did. Like when they were like leaving, like one of I think it was the second or third movie where you see like the March of the Elves go into the West. I vividly remember this scene. I'm gonna have to look it up now and see if I'm right. But I thought there was like a mix then too, and I just assumed the same thing. I was like, I guess these are half elves. I guess they made the grade. They get to go to the West.
I don't know. Ugh. God, this music sucks. Ugh. Okay.
Trash.
There's no way his name is Trash. Come on, man.
No, her name's Tosh.
Oh,
What's up with those horns? I don't like those.
It's a Kunari, and the Kunari have been a race that they have been screwing up since the beginning, because it's like the very first Kunari you saw in the very first Dragon Age didn't have horns. They were just kind of like these big, kind of pale, scary looking human-ish type people with almost a completely alien mindset. And I guess biologically they're supposed to be different from humans. They're like a different species. But then, like, from the second game onward, we saw the Kun and they had horns. And now they've kind of turned into this, and
they're slowly becoming tieflings.
I mean,
whenever Western fantasy devs do like a workshop where there's more than one person that has input on the appearance of a fantasy creature, it inevitably becomes a tiefling. It happened in WoW too. Like they have their own unique thing that's actually unique and has an independent design that's someone's vision. Enough people will get involved and it will degenerate into tiefling in a long enough time scale.
Like, everything becomes a crab
of fantasy. Yeah,
yeah.
The crabs of fantasy design. That's my thesis.
I just generally don't like this look. I mean, for starters, I'm not a fan of dark eyes, but you're saying, Greg?
I don't like it either.
You don't like it either? Yeah. I just don't. It doesn't look good.
I kind of like tieflings, but not everything needs to be a tiefling.
Yeah. Well, these are supposed to be like 8 foot or 7 foot tall tieflings that are jacked, and
I recently learned that tieflings aren't supposed to be tieflings. Like, because every single tiefling you see is like a red-skinned devil monster now, but apparently they're like half interdimensional beings from like Planescape, and they are way, way different looking in their original visual design. Because freaking Deer was the guy that originally designed them, and he's an actual artist with a vision. But again, that got grabbed by WotC, and enough design committees, crabified them into the tieflings we know now. It's inevitable, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Where you paused there, it looks like she's just lit a fart on fire.
It does.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you can do that in game. I mean, that's like some Michael Jordan can't even touch this hang time.
That's Rain of Fire. Nice.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the frustrating thing is we've seen that exact sort of pose and shot and so many times now. It is not special.
No. And it just kind of seems like a watchword for it looks cool.
It does. It's cool. Visual shorthand for remember that cool thing that already got done. We did it too.
We did it too.
It is.
It's like walking away
it is
from a slow motion explosion.
It is the superhero landing pose of fantasy.
It is. It really is.
This crew needs a leader, someone we can count on.
This is giving me what is this giving me? This is giving me the Dungeons and Dragons movie vibes for some reason. Like, because it really feels like that the new Dungeons and Dragons movie in video game form.
Yeah, it does. Although I will say of that movie, I managed to avoid paying for it, but I still unfortunately was subjected to it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, it wasn't a bad movie. It was okay. I mean, it was enjoyable.
It succeeded in being like what I would see at a real D&D session, which is a bunch of clown players just completely failing their way to victory. It's like, yeah, that seems about right. That's kind of what D&D actually feels like. So
the Speak with Dead scene in particular had me laughing pretty good.
The part where he's doing the image of himself and it starts messing up because his concentration is broken. I'm like, that is a thing that that had to come from a table. Like that's so raw.
Yeah. It had its moments, so I can't poop on that movie too hard.
Someone that the world can count on.
This is supposed to be your character.
But where are we gonna find her?
You have to put together a crew.
Exactly. So You're really going to tell me this is the basis for the game? Is what two dwarves want to fight back against, the order or whatever like that, and they just happen to pick the one dude who wins in the bar fight to be their leader just because? Is that bad writing, or am I just stupid?
Ale is behind a lot of bad decisions.
True.
It's a little lazy.
I mean, they already changed the name of this game once. I mean, now it's Veilguard. It used to be like Wolf Hunter or some shit, Wolf Chest or Wolf Tits. I don't remember.
It's always like that. It's always like cool word, cool action.
Yeah.
Is the new class. It's like I'm not a wizard. I'm a spell and sorcerer.
I am a steel inseminator. How did you come up with that name? Oh, I just put two cool sounding words together, but they're not cool together.
Means though.
But yeah.
Out of the grab bag.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like I rolled on the random table and this is what I got. What did you get? Scarlet bloodborne fucker. I don't know.
Magic stabber.
Yeah, magic stabber. Beast gut cuddler.
You guys got all the cool names. Mine is back. You guys got all the cool names. Mine is backdoor sausage.
Hey, Tim Hayes.
Character though that would manage to just through sheer luck rise to level 20. Is that him? Is that the backdoor sausage of legend?
Hey, that sausage in the boys is pretty good.
Behold, it is he, the chili snuzzler. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I didn't download the gameplay footage because it was like a 30-minute trailer, and I'm just like, yeah, there's no way we could sit through a 30-minute trailer on the show. I mean, we'd all tune out. But from the looks of how the game is set up now, you control your main character, and you punch the special action buttons, and your other party members just do whatever the fuck they do in combat. So now it's pretty much like a single player action game that you happen to be in a party of. So that's the new Dragon Age.
Makes me want to buy the RPG so I can run a story that's good.
Well, I mean,
the RPG is really fun.
I've heard it's good.
It is. It's great. It's one of those games where I think they went a little too heavy on the core mechanics. So the core mechanic is all this weird, fun, goofy stuff it does. But like it's on like a chart, and it's weird to put a chart with the core mechanic. So I imagine that on a long enough time scale, it'd get really samey. You want to kind of shift back to a less busy chart.
Well, it's our Talsorian games, isn't it?
It is. And Talsorian brings it. So
yeah,
was it? Didn't think it was Artel.
Yeah, Artel did Dragon Age, and they also did The Witcher. So I don't know. Maybe they did a good job on those. I mean, there wasn't. Oh, was it Green Ronin?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. Then I'm just thinking The Witcher was Talsorian then, right?
Yeah, The Witcher was.
Okay.
Yeah, Dragon Age looks like it's a newer edition since I last saw it.
Well, there we go. But yeah,
Just said I might pick it up. That's all.
Grim, you have so many other games.
I know I do,
including a few that I would actually like you to run.
Well, we'll get there.
Okay. Together. Okay, look at that fucking bow design. What is that?
It should definitely have the same sound effect of Mega Man's Buster. It's bleak, bleak.
I mean, what is that shit? I mean,
why would they do that?
It looks like something that she sits on for pleasure and between combats.
She's way too smiley to be in the middle of a giant battle. Like, no one's that happy to be, like, in a war. But hooray, war! It's fantastic.
I mean, I still remember one of the things about the first Dragon Age was that your character would get covered in blood when they would kill people, and it's like she looks totally clean, and you know.
This
But-
is like the 5e group that's all like telling jokes in the middle of combat. And,
Yeah.
guys, isn't it great how we're having such great memories of this?
We're having so much fun killing things.
This is an experience. Yeah.
All the 5e people that Wizards of the Coast fired are now working on this.
Oh God.
So it's like all the worst ideas from 5e.
Yeah, and look, they're an Asian elf because my representation.
I'm just assuming that half elves are getting elves are getting busy with humans, and these are all half elves. I'm fine with that assumption.
I don't know, but I mean, it's like I remember the very first game is like elves were kind of frowned on and downtrodden and dirty and all this stuff, unless you were like a wild elf, in which case then you were just kind of like feral and weird and superstitious and stuff. And now they're just like, ha, we're happy and mainstream, and I don't know, and it's just
the coffee shop elves.
Yeah. It's like they said, yeah, that lore from the first game was really cool, but it's problematic, so we're gonna throw it all out and just kind of do our own shit and just make it generic fantasy game.
It's not even generic fantasy. This is like such a specifically Seattle area, like metro area fantasy. It's like
oh shit,
really tiny little sliver of anything. Like, it's like so many things look like this now, right? But it's like almost no one in the entirety of geekdom has ever done anything like this, or cares about it, or likes it.
Joel, would you say that it looks a lot like Los Angeles in modern days?
I mean, yeah.
The world of The Witcher, Blood Origin, is a medieval realm divided into 3 kingdoms that have been at war for 1,000 years. Want to explore the exotic serpent clan who serve the southern kingdom of Darwin? Well, be introduced to a mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people you would find in relative proportion in metropolitan Los Angeles. What about the Raven clan that defends the northern kingdom of Prussia, a place where the inhabitants are the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles? Finally, take a journey to the mysterious far-off kingdom of Zintrea, where the folk are the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles. But don't fear, if you still have a yearning for exotic medieval fantasy, then embark on a journey of escapist epic adventure in Willow, set in the ancient kingdom of Tur Azlin, where the folk are the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles. And from there, be swept away in the grand fantasy spectacle of The Lord of the Rings of Power, where the insular island society of Numenor is made up of a mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles. Then be swept forth to the distant and utterly different geography and climate of the Southlands, a pastoral folk made up of exactly the same mix of Caucasian, Black, Asian, and Latino people in relative proportion to metropolitan Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that, right? Yeah, utterly sucked the landing on that critique. Jesus Christ. Like, I get it, representation is good. Like, I do it in my game too, but like, at the same time, that's not even how human beings work. Like, that's how they work in Los Angeles. Like, he's not joking. Like, there's a few metropolitan centers in the entire earth in all of history where that mix has ever prevailed. And almost all the other ones are like highly segmented. It's just the way human beings are. Like, I don't make the rules, man.
I mean, you know, if I go to Tokyo, Japan, you know,
If I don't see that exact mix, I am going to write such a sternly worded letter to the management of Japan.
I fully, you know, expect to see, you know, like tons and tons of foreigners amongst the Japanese, right? Because they're a large metropolitan community of people with, you know, thousands of inhabitants living in close proximity on a day-to-day basis.
If I go anywhere, like if I go to Egypt, I want to see that exact same blend of human beings everywhere on the planet at all times.
I mean,
that's the future.
You know,
I mean, it's never happened ever historically, and it's already like falling apart now. in the brief flicker of time that it's ever existed. But certainly that's the inevitable conclusion. It's definitely going to happen, folks.
You know, when I want to go to Moscow, I fully expect to see a great number of, Hispanic and Black and Asian people wandering amongst the populace of the, of this crowded streets.
Because the Russians are known for all their Hispanics.
Yeah, yeah. all those Black Russians, I mean, they made a drink about them, right?
That's a good point. It's amazing how much conversation we have had, more conversation about this image than was ever made to create it.
I mean, well, when the shit, that's why this is a talk show, because when the shit comes up, it comes up.
I'd like to point out that she's carrying a single giant slice of Sbarro pizza on her hip, and it's making me really hungry.
Yeah! What is up with that? What is that for?
That's for a mid-combat snack for when they take their short rest.
That's the pizza holder. I don't know. Yeah, I love this chick's headwear right here. Before it gets taken out.
Like the paper hat just like flapping onto the screen for a second, and then they're so ashamed of it they just shine this flashlight at the camera, like, don't let them see.
Oh no, you see it lots in the show. Or in the game. I'm referring to it as a show because it feels like a show. Although, to be truthful, I have seen a lot of modern productions, especially coming out of Disney Plus, where the graphics look equal to this game.
How come every dragon is like Godzilla in these games? Like, they never have Smog. They never have like a calculating intellectual dragon that's got a plan. They always have big roar monster that goes stomp stomp. Brrr.
Well,
they got my letter. They just squished all of them, and that was the end of the trailer. Thud, scrape, blood smear, Dragon Age. That would be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know, Greg. Why is that?
They got my letter in the mail.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and we
again, they're the stall stabbers. They're the shard binders. I'll never get over shard binder.
Shard binder.
Bind shards.
It's more like a shart binder in this case.
Exactly.
A shark binder. That would be good.
This sounds like all the names they came up with for the Cobalt Press RPG.
Oh, what is the Cobalt? What is it? Or what are they?
Tales of the Valiant.
Yeah, but what are the class names?
Oh, it is stuff like that. The
Warden. Is it? Well, they had to make it intellectually, different from the other guys. So of course they're going to name everything different. I mean, you can't just call a fighter, right? You got to call him something like.
I don't think you can copyright fighter, but like at the same time, like, okay, so they get a chance to work in the creative industry, and they get to be as creative as possible. And their idea is, let's have the worst idea, and then combine it with an even worse idea, and that'll be the name.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, think about all human myth and being like, you know what people did all the time in myth? Guard veils.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that really resonates. Way to go, guys.
Yeah, that's what I want to be known as. What is he? He's a veil guard.
It'd really be called a harem guard. Honestly, if it'd been called Dragon Age harem guards, and like it just had that exact same thing, and then it just like swiveled around. There was a small tent that just said "whores" on it. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
I'd buy it.
Yeah, sold immediately. Sold.
I mean, there's a few hundred, pornographic games on Steam you could pick up that probably have really curious names. I mean, I sent Ironcaster one the other day.
I want Dragon Age to have the stones to put straight up prostitutes in there. Like, come on, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Have you played that yet, by the way, Ironcaster?
Yeah, I put maybe about a half hour into it.
Oh, did you get to see the Goblin Storm Maiden?
Yes. I spent all my money on her, and
I knew you would.
Well, yeah, but you said it with like, by the way, buy from her like 3 times.
Yeah. Well, you got all 3 scenes, didn't you? You got the achievement.
I only got the one so far.
Oh, well, yeah, you got to buy from her. You got to buy her special 3 times in order to get the achievement and unlock all 3 visuals.
Yes. You guys are degenerates.
Yes, we are. And we're single, lonely men. Damn it!
I'm actually dating a goblin right now, so.
Oh, don't tell Ironcaster. He'll want to know where you get more of them.
Waffle I don't know how you managed to find it. This one found me. I was living underground and hoarding treasure as one does, and that seemed to work. So you're halfway there, man.
There you go.
Just don't
wait a second. I've read Goblin Slayer. There are no female goblins.
Ew.
So you actually dated
ruining my
goblin
room,
trap.
Jim. Shut up, Jolly Jim.
That looks good, bud.
Taller than my girlfriend, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Much taller.
Well, all right, guys. We've knocked out a significant chunk of the afternoon. Do you want to close up, or?
I think we're good here. I think this is degenerating too quickly. We need to flee.
There's still so much more we could bring up and talk about, but
so many more problematic subjects we could get canceled.
Oh, I mean, this week was just a treasure trove of things, but
Alt F4. Alt F4.
How about we go ahead and stop for now? So thanks for hanging out with us this week and our special 2 hour. My gosh, we haven't done this in a long time.
This thing first, man. Every time I'm on this stream, it goes for 2 hours.
There you go. But join us tomorrow when I believe Grim Jim will be running Fallout role-playing game. Right? You will?
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll be trying to put together a vehicle.
That ought to be fun. My guy will ask, can you shoot it and then it'll go?
Well,
how can't you shoot it? Can we put gunpowder in the engine and it'll go faster?
Well, maybe you can find a diesel truck, because some of those you can start up with shotgun cartridges. So
I've heard that.
From the south, that checks out. That really happens, yes.
Yeah, that does. And then, of course, Tuesday when we have Ironcaster and we do Tuesday with Geeks. But until then, y'all take care. Thanks for hanging out with us. And if you're catching us on the replay, I hope you enjoy it. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe, because we're really so close to 1,000. We just got to get there. Till then, bye-bye, y'all.
See ya.
Later.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.
How do you look at the suffering of life?